Let's talk about ink. Ink is pretty cool. It's the only core token that was only given out to basically true believers, right? Like there was no VCs for ink, no team wallet. Every token was earned or bought. It has the token itself has no mint function, right? So there was nothing pre-minted to anybody's wallet. There was no pre-farming, and it has a fixed emission schedule. And we'll go into that in a bit. So with none of it being pre-mined, most ink holders are farmers or believers, right? They're people who believe in the ecosystem or believe in the token. If they received it for free from farming and they have it, like that's a great example of diamond hands, right? Like they had every chance to sell it and they didn't. There's some huge ink whales out there, and I believe those guys or gals are pretty solid. Um, it has a lot of staked LP too, right? Like there's LP providers, big whales who are supporting ink. It doesn't seem to have an option to go below $1. Like there was huge buy pressure around that range when it went lower. I think it could go much higher. As far as richer hardcore tokens, it's one of the ones with lower liquidity, meaning that it could pump quite a bit higher with less insertion of cash, right? Just a rough numbers, but like if like $1 billion came into ink and there was 80% sell pressure on the way up, we could see a $3,000 ink token, which would be pretty cool. I think that would be make the PulseX farms pretty interesting. And I think the PulseChain ecosystem needs a token like that that has a higher price tag on it to sort of show the world that like yeah we don't just have 10-cent tokens, 50-cent tokens, sub penny tokens. Like we have $1,000 plus token in our ecosystem, and I think ink is the ideal candidate for that. I may be somewhat biased. That's possible. As far as the token itself, it's been adopted by multiple protocols. Ink Printer has a stablecoin that uses ink as collateral, a fork of liquidity from Ethereum. I think there will be more adoption for ink. There's other protocols that have used it as a reward token, etc. as well. All ink comes from PulseX, so it has an inflation where every day a certain amount of ink is printed by the protocol. That inflation was turned down by 97%. Right? So it's a huge decrease on the supply in the market, making it exponentially more rare. I think that's going to do great things for the price. There is a possibility that the inflation could be turned up in the future. I don't think that's likely to happen until we're at what Richard perceives to be the top of the bull market. It would be right now. We want lower liquidity, I think, so that things can pump. When we get to the top, maybe we want higher liquidity, and ink is the perfect tool for that. So if at that point in time we had a $3,000 ink and then the inflation went up, there'd be a huge amount of liquidity to float into those LP pairs on PulseX, giving us a soft cushion as we move into the bear market. I think that'd be good for a lot of people, and ink is the perfect tool for that. As far as the token itself goes, like it has great meme potential, right? It has a fantastic logo. It's got great colors. The name is very simple. The ticker is very simple. I think it could be something that gets adoption in the meme world if done correctly. So we could get some meme teams on that and get it out there. So I prefer to own ink than a dog branded item just about any day. So why not have some fun and games set around ink? And there could be other things built on top of ink that burn it, that gamify it, all kinds of things. The part that I'm really interested in is what it says in the code. And I mentioned this previously, but we can go into a little more depth. Like it says right in the ink code that it could be used as a DAO token when the community is, mature enough, right? And distribution is spread out enough. And that DAO could vote on things like what gets to be the next farm on PulseX, which farm pays the most yield. Like it could vote on silly things too, like changing the logo color, but that's not what people are interested in. So I think the future for ink is going to be something like that, with it being a DAO token or with it having a single-sided staking option, right? Which could be definitely something that could be built, and having the reward token of the ecosystem have additional utility on top of just being able to sell it would be huge. One thing that I think would be cool, and this is kind of a PulseX thing, kind of an ink thing, but like we have this community built that was basically built off of Hex, right? And hexagons know how to do one thing really, really well, and that's the hold, right? Oh shit. Oh, I'm still here. Good. My computer just flashed off for a sec, but we're continuing on. So with PulseX, like what if there was an option to not just stake your LP in the farms to earn ink, but also to lock it for a period of time? Like what if you could commit 3 months, 6 months, a year of having that LP in the farm, and in return you received a larger portion of the ink tokens that went out on any given day? I think that would be a cool add-on that would really resonate with the Hex community in particular, and that would as we move through different cycles from bull into bear and back into bull again, the option to have liquidity that was locked in the system, that was rewarding people in ink for doing that, which would give Richard a single lever to pull to support the community, right? Like you want more LP, you want more liquidity for the tokens as we go into a bear market. You can increase the price of ink, and that will result in more liquidity flowing into the system, which would be huge. But like I don't think we should count on that being the case. Certainly there's enough interesting things just about the token by itself, when we look at the LP options that are there, the additional protocols built on top of it. But I think there's room for some upgrading, and like I said, some of the upgrading is built right into the code. We have a relatively low market cap token here, and it has an asymmetric upside, right? Like the potential for ink to pump over $1,000, in my opinion, is greater than any other core token, right? Now, part of that is because it's starting at a higher price. But when we look at the chart, like ink's been $80 in the past. I think it would quite easily return to $80 myself. But like to have it like go up to $300 to $1,000, as far as the amount of money that's required to do that, it's much lower than it would be to bring Pulse up to like a penny. It's going to be something that's would be a great lever to pull to when that marketing comes out to get people interested in the community. Because do you want to farm for a token that's worth $1, or do you want to farm for a token that's worth $1,000? And I think that $1,000 plus price point would really draw in the masses as far as that goes. So yeah, that might be one of the levers that gets pulled. Some camera trouble there. But the long term, I think, is that ink is going to continue to be a core part of the ecosystem. There's no reason that those PulseX farms will ever go away. But the inflation on ink could continue to get lower and lower. Right now, it's down by 97%. There's no reason it couldn't be down by 99% or more. So, making the token exponentially rarer as we go, making the inflation on ink less than the inflation on Hex or on Pulse, for example. We know that PulseX burns itself, which is fantastic. There could be something set up where ink gets burned as well. It could even become deflationary in the future, right? Via third-party protocols, or something that gets set up via PulseX itself. That would be pretty interesting. So when we look at similar tokens and how they've done on other chains, I think the most obvious one to look at is Cake on BNB. Cake did fantastic, right? And brought mass adoption to that chain. I think ink could be the lever that brings mass adoption to PulseChain. We just need a couple extra features to make it a little bit more interesting, to engage the big players. And yeah, we're off to the races.
It's an interesting balance always with ink, because we've seen the inflation be slashed just like with Hex and stuff too, except this was with direct knobs, with PulseX and stuff versus just OA staking with Hex. But how do you balance the, hey, if you're not going to pay me, I'm not going to liquidity provide, versus, hey, this token's super rare. It has to be price go up season, right? Like there's no other rational explanation.
Yeah, I think you tie it into other things that are worth money, right? So that whole DAO concept of you need this to vote on which farm pays the most, right? Or even on like another thing, like what's the next core PulseChain protocol that gets launched. Like if ink token was the thing that decided those things, it would be interesting to whales, right? Who would want to hold a lot of ink, and they'd have a reason to. Or the single-sided staking thing, right? Like you have something with this community that you can stake, that you can lock for a period of time to earn something extra without impermanent loss. Like that's a hot concept.
Hot.